I haven't used disposable sanitary pads since 2 to 3 years now. In this video, I'd like to share with you why and how I made this shift, hoping it helps you too. Have you ever given thought to what happens to your pad once it's tossed into the bin? Millions of pads rot in the landfills for years when thrown away. Waste pickers have to come in contact with them, which isn't really something that any human should have to go through. Essentially, disposable pads also constitute to the single-use plastic as they're made of plastic. They irritate the skin and additionally irritate nature. The monumental waste we generate every period during our entire life on earth is mind-boggling. I hadn't given thought to any of this for all those years of having used them. Even if we had given thought, we possibly might have not known of alternatives to switch to. In order to no longer contribute to any of the above nightmare that I'd woken up to be aware of, I vowed to revisit the good old days of reusing cloth, stories of which I've heard from Mum. Only what their generation left behind, I'll be going back to, with some changes. In today's day and age, to avoid such large-scale wastage that disposable pads contribute to, we can switch to reusable cloth pads, reusable period panties or menstrual cup, if this works for you, that is. Way back in November 2022, I bought 2 period panties, 1 cloth pad and a set of labia pads from Soch Green in Delhi, all only for 1,359 rupees. When I visited the outlet, Pranav, co-founder of Soch Green, explained the different options to me, breaking all stereotypes.
So this is for
actually light to medium.
ठीक है.
Heavy के लिए you have to club it with labia pads. ये discharge and spotting days only.
Okay.
And ये तो आपका cloth pad just to say.
ठीक है.
He was kind to answer all my queries and help me make my decisions to make the switch for the first time in life. I only share this now, 3 years later, as I wanted to give it a fair trial before sharing with you as a possibility, as a solution. All of what I got has lasted me from when I bought them till now in May 2025, so that's almost 3 years already, and I will continue to use them for timelines ahead. So do the math on how many pads I stopped from reaching the landfill from my end in these 3 years and for the times to come. This is how I've been able to eliminate all waste generated from menstrual cycles while living alone for 2 years. Nobody around really understood why reducing garbage in every aspect of life was more important a decision to me than staying back in wasteful norms, even if it meant dealing with the loneliness that comes from having to live away from everyone that mattered while choosing to lead by example. This makes for another rant, but getting back to my purpose of sharing this one. The period products of Soch Green are made from healthier, reusable and or biodegradable materials that reduce the burden on waste management systems. They are not harmful for the environment, not harmful for health, comfortable, economical and eco-friendly. I soak and wash them by hand, being mindful of the amount of water wasted in doing so. FYI, nothing so gross about your own blood or about washing it either. Then I dry them out in the sun. No, it is not embarrassing at all and nothing to be ashamed of. This is natural. They dry in a jiffy, considering we are blessed with ample sun in India. More of it than we even need, perhaps. Sometimes I dry them on my cycle indoors. Who knew a cycle could multitask as a cloth stand? My dream of a cycle-friendly India makes for another rant. This one I've already done, by the way. Have you heard? Oh, so much to voice about in India for the future of a healthy, happy, litter-free India. Getting back to the topic. A pointer to keep in mind is that the period panty takes a while to dry as it is layered quite thick. All of what I have are super absorbent and I haven't faced any leakages or fabric stains till date. I use one all of day 1 and wash it to be reused again on day 3. Likewise, one for day 2 to be washed and reused on day 4, repeating this every cycle for months and years on end. This might depend on what kind of period and flow each of us have, as well as we're all unique. I have no complaints at all so far, as it suffices me. They gave a waterproof pouch to carry the pads. Mine promptly goes with me in my backpack when the time of the month approaches. The toxic loop of missing cycles due to stress and workload and overcoming regularity in cycles after years, perhaps another rant for another day. I haven't had to use this reusable pad kit during hectic times or during travel yet, as period timing has always been cosmically convenient and hence have been managing the washing and drying pretty hassle-free. I have no experience of using the menstrual cup, hence will not be able to help you with feedback on this. I never was for tampons back in the day and I'm equally hesitant about menstrual cups, but more and more women are choosing this as their preferred alternative. One possible drawback, and the only one I can think of, is that the tiny labia pads have a tendency to get flushed by accident, which again leads to the initial problem being adding to garbage. When I initially started using these, it would skip my mind that I have these tiny little additions over the cloth pad or period panty and it would accidentally fall into the toilet. I have lost 2 of the 3 I bought and I'm now hesitant to use the one I'm left with. Dealt with the guilt of having had this happen as I'm usually very careful. This tip may be useful for anyone who might use them for the first time. I'm sharing the website of Soch Green in the description below where you can find more depth of information and guidance regarding all their reusable menstrual hygiene products. In addition to this, I'm also sharing their Google Maps location in New Delhi. I got everything in my own backpack to eliminate packaging waste from my end and walked and took a bus to and fro their location in Delhi, being mindful of the carbon footprint I contribute to. However, if you're not in Delhi, the only option may be to order online. I'm not so much for the wastage generated by couriers, hoping for compostable or recyclable packaging options in the future that would solve this issue if they're not using so already. I'm not sure about this, you will have to check with them. Would you, my fellow Indians, join me by making the switch to more sustainable waste-free options for your periods? Would you join me in reducing the garbage we contribute to on our one home, Earth? If every single one of us in India, in every single country on Earth did this, we would win this fight together. Feel free to share your views, ideas, thoughts, concerns, anything really in the comments below, and I'll try to respond to the best of my ability.